Welcome to Fluent Verse, where stories speak from the heart, and every word helps you feel, learn, and dream in English. Today's story is called The Heart of a Nurse. It's a tale about kindness, courage, and the quiet strength that lives behind every gentle smile. Now close your eyes and let the story begin. The alarm rings before sunrise, sharp and steady. Olivia reaches for her phone and silences it without opening her eyes. For a moment, she lies still, listening to the soft hum of the city, the early buses groaning awake, the faint patter of rain against her window, the sigh of wind moving through the narrow street below. Then she takes a deep breath and sits up. It's another day at St. Mary's Hospital. She is 27 years old, about 165 centimeters tall. With calm hazel eyes and chestnut hair she ties into a neat bun every morning. Her reflection in the mirror looks both tired and determined. She puts on her blue uniform, clips her ID badge to her chest, and ties her shoes tightly. She doesn't wear much makeup, just a hint of lip balm, but when she smiles it brings life to her face in a way no color could. Before she leaves her small apartment, she looks at her reflection once more and whispers the words she says every morning. You can do this. The streets are damp from last night's rain as she walks toward the bus stop. The city is still waking. Shopkeepers raise shutters, coffee smells drift from cafes, and lights flicker on in high apartment windows. Olivia finds a seat by the window on the bus and watches the gray morning roll by. She sees a student half asleep, a mother holding her child, a man reading the paper, and she wonders, as she always does, what each of them carries in their hearts. The automatic doors of the hospital slide open with a quiet hiss when she arrives. The smell of antiseptic and coffee greets her like an old friend. Nurses in scrubs move quickly down the corridors, their voices mixing with the beeping of monitors and the distant hum of machines. Olivia greets them with small smiles as she makes her way toward C, where 12 patients wait for her care. She begins her rounds with practiced rhythm, temperature, pulse, medication, chart notes, reassurance. "Good morning, Mr. Patel," she says to an elderly man reading the newspaper. "Morning, nurse," he says with a gentle smile. "You always bring sunshine, even on cloudy days." She laughs softly. "Then I'll try to visit twice today." The hours blur together. She helps a man walk again after surgery, comforts a teenager afraid of his diagnosis, and checks the floor of a quiet woman who hasn't spoken since she arrived. Olivia's voice is steady, her hands sure, her heart open. The work is exhausting, but she doesn't complain. She believes every patient deserves her best, no matter how long the shift lasts. At noon she finally takes a break. In the staff lounge she finds Daniel, another nurse, already sitting at the table. He holds up a sandwich with a grin. "You forgot to eat again, didn't you?" "Maybe," she admits, smiling. He passes her half. "You're hopeless, Olivia. You can't save everyone on an empty stomach." "I can try," she says, laughing softly. He shakes his head, amused. "You sound like a hero in a hospital drama." "Maybe I'm just a nurse who cares too much." "Maybe that's why you're so good at it," he says quietly. They eat in companionable silence. The hum of the hospital continues around them. Distant pages, rolling carts, the rhythm of life and loss. When Olivia returns to the ward, her body feels a little lighter, her spirit steadier. But peace in a hospital never lasts long. The emergency doors swing open suddenly, and a stretcher rushes in. A woman in her 70s, pale, gasping for breath. The doctors shout orders, and Olivia moves instantly. Oxygen mask, vitals, 4, blood pressure. Her hands work faster than thought, guided by years of instinct and training. After tense minutes, the woman's heartbeat steadies. Her breathing slows. Panic fades. Olivia stays beside her, holding her frail hand. "You're safe now," she whispers gently. The woman's eyes flutter open, soft and wet. "Thank you," she breathes. "You remind me of my daughter." Olivia smiles. "Then you can think of me as her for now." When the rush ends, Olivia stands by the window. Outside, the rain has started again, thin, steady lines tracing the glass. She watches for a long time, her heart full and heavy all at once. Nursing isn't just a job, she thinks. It's a promise, to give hope, to bring comfort, to stand beside people when they're most afraid. By the end of her shift, night has settled over the city. Olivia changes back into her coat, signs her last report, and waves goodbye to her patients. "Good night, Mr. Patel," she says softly. He smiles. "Good night, nurse. Go home and rest. You've earned it." He laughs. "I'll try." Outside, the world glows with soft rain and golden streetlights. The city hums gently. Cars passing, puddles rippling, air cool against her face. She walks home slowly, her steps tired but peaceful. She has given everything today, and somehow that fills her with strength instead of emptiness. At home, she kicks off her shoes, changes into soft clothes, and sits by the window with a cup of tea. The steam curls upward, warm against the cool night air. She looks at her hands, the same hands that comforted, healed, and held so many today. They tremble faintly, but she smiles at them. "You can do this," she whispers again, the same quiet prayer that begins and ends her days. Outside, the rain continues to fall, soft and endless, like the rhythm of a heart that refuses to give up. The next morning begins with gray clouds hanging low over the city. Olivia wakes before her alarm this time. Her body feels heavy, her shoulders stiff from yesterday's long shift, but she doesn't let herself linger in bed. She moves through her routine quietly. Shower, uniform, hair tied back, badge clipped in place. As she leaves her apartment, she breathes in the cool air, damp and clean after the rain. The streets are quieter than usual. A man walks his dog. A bakery opens its doors and releases the sweet smell of bread into the morning air. Olivia smiles to herself. She loves these moments. Small, unnoticed, but full of life. At the hospital, the day starts slowly. Patients sleep, monitors beep in rhythm, and the morning light spreads across the white walls. Olivia checks her list of assignments. Most of the names are familiar. Mr. Patel, the recovering teenager, the quiet woman who never speaks. But one catches her attention. Room 204. Grace Howard, 62 years old, heart complications. Olivia heads there first. Room 204 is bright and tidy, with flowers on the bedside table. Fresh lilies, their scent soft but sharp. The woman in the bed looks fragile, her silver hair fanned across the pillow, her eyes closed. Olivia glances at the chart, then gently calls, "Good morning, Miss Howard." The woman opens her eyes, calm but weary. "Morning, dear. You must be my new nurse." "Yes," Olivia says, smiling. "I'm Olivia. How are you feeling today?" Grace gives a small laugh. "Like my heart's trying to escape my chest. But other than that, fine." Olivia chuckles quietly, checking her vitals. Grace watches her movements carefully. "You're young," she says softly. "You don't look old enough to be doing this." Olivia smiles. "I've been doing it for a few years now. Some days it feels like forever." "Then you must be good at it," Grace replies. "You have kind eyes. Kind people make the best nurses." Olivia blushes slightly but says nothing. She finishes her checks and adjusts Grace's blanket. "I'll be back later to check on you again. If you need anything, just press the button, okay?" Grace nods. "Don't worry, dear. I'm not going anywhere." Throughout the day, Olivia visits Grace's room often. She learns that Grace used to be a teacher, literature mostly. She loved poetry and used to make her students read aloud from their favorite books. "Words have power," Grace says one afternoon, her voice soft but strong. "They can heal just like medicine, maybe more." Olivia listens as she works. "I think I believe that," she says. "Sometimes I tell stories to my younger patients when they're scared. It helps calm them down." Grace smiles. "Then you're already a healer, my dear. You just use more than one kind of medicine." Days pass, and Grace's condition fluctuates. Some mornings she's bright and talkative, telling Olivia stories about her students and the books she loved. Other days she's quiet, her breath shallow, her eyes distant. Olivia notices the change and feels a weight in her chest each time she enters the room. One evening, after her shift has technically ended, Olivia stays behind. The ward is quieter at night, lights dimmed, footsteps softer. She sits by Grace's bed as the older woman sleeps, her breathing uneven. Olivia holds her hand gently, tracing the lines of age and life. Grace stirs and opens her eyes. "You should be home, dear," she whispers. "I know," Olivia says softly. "But I wanted to make sure you're okay." Grace smiles faintly. "You remind me of myself when I was your age. Always caring for everyone, forgetting to care for myself." Olivia looks down. "It's easier to take care of others. They need me. And you don't need you." Grace asks, her voice fragile but steady. The words linger in the quiet room. Olivia doesn't answer. She squeezes Grace's hand instead. The old woman's eyes close again, and her breathing steadies. Olivia stays there a while longer, listening to the soft beeping of the monitor, the rhythm of a heart still fighting, still living. In the following days, Olivia finds herself thinking about Grace's question. "You don't need you." It echoes in her mind as she walks through the halls, as she eats lunch with Daniel, as she stands by other patients' bedsides. She realizes she's built her life around caring for others, but somewhere along the way she's forgotten how to rest, how to breathe, how to just be herself. Daniel notices the change in her. "You okay?" he asks one afternoon, catching her staring out the window during a rare break. "Yeah," she says, though her voice lacks conviction. He studies her. "You're not good at lying." He smiles weakly. "Just thinking. About your patients or about you?" "Both," she admits. That night, Olivia returns to room 204. Grace is awake, her eyes bright despite her frailty. "You look tired, dear," she says. "Sit down." Olivia obeys. Grace smiles. "You know, when I taught my students, I used to tell them something. You can't pour from an empty cup. Do you understand?" Olivia nods slowly. "I think so." "Then promise me something," Grace says. "Promise me you'll take care of yourself as kindly as you take care of others." Olivia feels tears prick her eyes. "I promise." 2 days later, Grace takes a turn for the worse. Her heart weakens suddenly in the early morning hours. The monitors flash red. Alarms fill the air. Doctors and nurses rush in. Olivia among them, heart pounding. She does everything she can. Oxygen, medication, chest compressions. But Grace's pulse fades beneath her hands. When the room falls silent, Olivia stands frozen, her gloves trembling. The doctor shakes his head quietly. Time of death, 7:12 a.m. Olivia steps back, her chest tight. She feels the sting of tears but forces herself to keep moving. She helps clean the room, folds the blankets, and straightens the flowers on the table. Only when she's alone does she let herself cry. Quietly, shoulders shaking, grief pouring out in waves she didn't expect. Later, she finds a note on Grace's bedside table. It's folded neatly, her name written on the front in careful, looping handwriting. Olivia opens it with trembling hands. Dear Olivia, thank you for your kindness. You reminded me that even in pain there is beauty. Take care of your heart. It's the greatest tool you have. Remember, healing others begins with healing yourself. With love, Grace. Olivia presses the note to her chest, her eyes filling again. The hospital hums softly around her, life moving on as it always does. But she stands there for a long moment, holding that piece of paper like it's a light in the dark. For the first time, she realizes that being a nurse isn't just about saving lives. It's about witnessing them, sharing them, carrying their stories forward. And Grace's story will stay with her, always. A week passes after Grace's death, yet her presence lingers in the ward. Olivia feels it every time she walks past room 204. Now empty, the bed neatly made, the air strangely still. The lilies have been taken away, but the faint scent remains, soft as a memory. The hospital continues its rhythm. Monitors beep, doors open and close, footsteps echo down the hall, but something in Olivia has changed. She moves through her work with the same steady hands, the same gentle voice, yet there's a quiet weight in her chest, a thought that never quite leaves. You can't pour from an empty cup. Each night when she goes home, she sits by her window with Grace's note in her lap. The words blur from being read too many times, yet she reads them again, tracing each line like a prayer. Take care of your heart. Healing others begins with healing yourself. It's on one of these quiet evenings that Daniel knocks on her apartment door. She blinks in surprise. She hadn't told anyone where she lived. How did you? You mentioned this street once, he says, holding up a takeout bag. I figured you could use dinner that doesn't come from the hospital vending machine. Olivia can't help but smile. You're persistent. Guilty, he says, stepping inside. He sets the food on the small table by the window. You haven't been yourself lately. I'm fine, she says automatically. He raises an eyebrow. You tell your patients to be honest about how they feel, don't you? She sighs and looks down. It's just, Grace. I thought I was used to loss by now, but she was different. Daniel nods. She mattered to you. She did, Olivia whispers. She made me see things differently. I thought being strong meant never breaking. But maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's letting yourself feel it all and still showing up the next day. They eat quietly after that, watching the city lights flicker outside. The silence between them isn't heavy this time. It's peaceful, like the quiet that follows a storm. Before leaving, Daniel places a small envelope on her table. From everyone in Ward C, he says. We're starting a small garden on the roof. Thought you might want to help. A garden? Olivia asks, smiling faintly. Yeah, he says. Somewhere for patients and staff to breathe. Somewhere that isn't full of machines and alarms. She nods slowly. I'd like that. The next day, she visits the rooftop after her shift. It's gray and bare now, only a few pots lined up along the wall, but the air feels open and free. She stands there, watching clouds drift across the skyline. Then she kneels and plants the first seed. A lily bulb, the same kind that once sat beside Grace's bed. Thank you, she murmurs to the sky, for reminding me to slow down. In the weeks that follow, the rooftop begins to change. Nurses bring soil, patients paint flower pots, and sunlight warms the new green shoots breaking through the earth. Olivia spends her breaks there, reading quietly or talking with Daniel. Sometimes she just sits and listens, to the breeze, the laughter, the simple hum of life continuing. One afternoon, a young patient joins her. He's a boy of 10 recovering from surgery, his small body wrapped in blankets. "You take care of flowers too?" he asks, watching her water the plants. Olivia smiles. "Sometimes the flowers take care of me." He frowns slightly. "How?" "They remind me to grow," she says softly. "Even when it's hard." The boy nods, thoughtful, and points to a sprout in the corner. "That one's mine. I named it Lucky." Olivia laughs. "That's a good name." He grins proudly. "It's going to grow tall like me." "I believe it will," she says. As the weeks turn to months, the rooftop garden becomes a small sanctuary. Patients visit to feel the sun on their faces. Nurses rest there between shifts. Flowers bloom, lilies, daisies, lavender, bright against the gray city skyline. And in the middle of it all, Olivia rediscovers her own strength. One evening, as the sun dips low, Daniel finds her standing by the railing, looking out over the city. "It's beautiful up here," he says. "It is," she replies. "It doesn't even feel like the same hospital anymore." "That's because you changed it," he says quietly. She glances at him, surprised. "Me?" "Yeah," he says. "You started this. The garden, the way people talk more now, laugh more. You gave everyone a place to breathe." Olivia smiles, her heart warm. "Grace gave me the idea. I just carried it forward." "Then maybe that's what nursing really is," Daniel says. "Carrying forward all the pieces of love people leave behind." The wind moves gently through her hair, carrying the scent of flowers. Olivia closes her eyes and lets herself breathe it in. The smell of earth, sunlight, and something like peace. For the first time in a long while, she feels whole. That night, as she prepares for bed, she looks at Grace's note again. The paper is worn now, creased at the edges, but she keeps it near her mirror. Beneath it, she adds a small photograph. The rooftop garden in full bloom, sunlight spilling across the flowers. She smiles at her reflection, tying her hair for the morning to come. "You can do this," she says quietly, not as a reminder, but as a truth she now believes. The alarm will ring tomorrow. Patients will need her. There will be exhaustion, laughter, maybe even loss. But there will also be love, steady, ordinary, powerful love, in every act of care. And as long as her heart keeps beating, Olivia will keep giving it.